Okay, we're going to go ahead and start the meeting.
Sue.
We won't fight.
Guys. All right. I'd like to call the June 7th, 2017 regular meeting of... It is. So, push up. Thank you.
Yep.
All right. So I'd like to call the regular meeting of June 7th, 2017 of the Brookfield Board of Education to order. I will say this is our favorite meeting of the year. I'll speak for the board on that. And I'd like to ask everybody to please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, so we do have a quorum tonight. We have 4 members of our board here. We have 2 members who are out of town. It's that time of year with family and graduation things going on. So we have 2 who are out of town, and Mr. Harding is up in Hartford fighting for the school budgets that we get support from the state so much. So we're glad to have him where he is, even though he couldn't be here tonight, sadly. Before we start, I'd like to make a motion to the board that we change the order of the agenda on 2 items. First, I'd like to move that we move the presentation of the literary magazine to the next item on the agenda, and that's not in disrespect to anything else that's going on, but we do have a lot of young kids here tonight, and we'd love to get that done and out of the way so that if they need to go home for dinner and family time, that we could do that. So I'd like to make that motion. Second? Second, thank you, Paul. Any disagreement? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. The second adjustment I'd like to make on the agenda this evening is I'd like to move that we remove item 13, executive session, from the agenda for this evening.
Second?
Okay. Moved and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. All right, so that housework is out of the way. Okay, so first up on our agenda is the presentation of the literary magazine and the yearbook, and let me turn it over to Mr. Burrell to lead us off in this discussion.
Absolutely. So, what I'd like to start with is our faculty representative. I haven't seen all of our which administrators are here, so I'd like to call our faculty representative and administrators from Huckleberry up to the podium to introduce the students and share. You coming up? There's Mrs. Diamond, wonderful. And Ms. Rudel.
Good evening, everyone.
And you have an entourage with you.
So I'm Mary Rose Diamond, proud principal of Huckleberry Hill, and I am so incredibly proud to introduce Mrs. Rudel, who is our yearbook advisor, and we have 4 of our 4th grade yearbook staff who are here to share with you how they went about putting the yearbook together and to share with you. It just came in today, literally today, so they're very excited to have it and share it with you. So Mrs. Rudolph, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hello. Thank you for having us tonight. This is Mariella, Bree, CJ, and Shrikar, and they have a presentation for you tonight.
Okay, we need to put the microphone down for them.
Hello, we are from Huckleberry Hill Yearbook Squad. Our names are Mariella, CJ, Shrikar, and Bree. We have worked with Mrs. Rudel to put together the yearbook this year. We broke up into 3 squads. There was a photography squad, a cover contest squad, and the layout squad. One responsibility of the photography squad was to take photographs of class, grade level, and school events. We had to learn how to take good pictures with a steady hand. Photographers then uploaded their pictures to the yearbook layout website and submitted them to Mrs. Rudel. This year, all our pages were made by Huckleberry Hill 4th grade students on the layout squad. We spent lots of time in the computer lab learning how to use the layout website, choosing pictures the photographers took, cropping them, and adding them to our pages. One of our favorite parts of being on Yearbook is doing the Yearbook cover contest. The cover contest squad advertised for the contest and collected entries. After the teachers narrowed down the 98 entries to the top 4, the fourth grade class all voted on our favorite. Our winner was designed by our very own classmate, CJ Sloan. We worked very hard on this yearbook this year and very proud of it. We hope you enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Did you guys have fun?
All right. So now it is time. It looks like our Wildcats from Wisconsin are ready to go, and I saw Mrs. Priestley here, and Mr. Renda, and Mrs. Gordon. Are you ready to come up? Come on up.
Good evening. I'm Mr. Renner from Wisconsin Middle School, the principal. I'm very excited to introduce to you Dr. Tamara Priestley and our Wildcats.
We are Wildcats, but this group is called the Wildcats, Wisconsin's Outstanding Writers. So I'm going to turn it over to the girls here. They'll introduce themselves, let you know why they selected the writing that they selected to read. In the past, we've mostly written poetry, but this year they really were into long prose. So they're going to maybe read you a paragraph or a section of stories that they've written. And Maggie is also going to introduce you to our website that we have. There's one addition that we're going to add to the website. It's not complete, but we're thinking of adding a podcast to it so that you can hear their works in their words, which will really be pretty cool. Maggie?
Hello, my name is Maggie Swenson, and I'm going to show to you the website. So far, right here is the home. We all worked very hard on it. We have all the topics, like snow and winter, culture, luck, and next, my personal favorite, prompts.
So if you ever need an idea of what to write on, these are some of the prompts that they came up with.
We got really creative. A few of these prompts are hurricanes are named after people. Why? Sometimes when you're stressed, you scream at the sea. One day, the sea asks you to stop. And you can shapeshift, but only your legs. Let's see. Now we have the About section. WOW stands for Wisconsin's Outstanding Writers. We truly are outstanding. Although a few of us are squatting. We take submissions. We can put them on the website, and we meet each month to select a topic and share our writing, and we always have food. I see you guys have cake. All right, let's see you guys go back here. Now, our WOW faves are a few quotes that we have. A writer is someone who can make a riddle out of an answer. A professional writer is an amateur who didn't quit. And yeah. Next, we have the contacts, which is just how you can get in touch with us. And then, WOW Writing, where we have all of our writing collected. A few examples include Lucky Lily, Hidden Memories, Gone But Not Lost, generic title, since we didn't really name that one. Let's see what else is on here. We also have a bunch of untitled ones, and Lonely Lines and excerpts. And the poem I'm going to share is a 2-part prose. It's just a slightly romantic story of 2 people from Oklahoma moving to New York. It came from when I was really tired and I was going through a rabbit hole known as thesaurus.com. I'm only going to read one part since it's kind of long, and the rest of outstanding writers can get their stories in. Alright. With a cinnamon splash and an anise aroma, in a secluded coffee shop in Deer, Oklahoma, a flustered poor cheeks flared a ruby shade, crashingly contrasting with her eyes of jade. Her gaze had crossed with tranquil honey a-clove, like the wavy roots of a spindly mangrove. They catch a teasing glance of a hickory butte, molasses mascara, and nails a fruit, masking doubt with her arrogant stride, head held high and seemingly dignified. Ordered an affogato for a glimmering Aphrodite, for her beauty, her wonder, her muse almighty. Her muse offered a sugary smile in return, for caramel eyes that passionately burn, welcomingly inviting her to chatter and converse about the weather and coffee and the universe. Red threads of fate strung from a raven to a dove, this pair of songbirds has learned how to love.
Hi, my name is Mahika, and I wrote this poem kind of about the future, mainly because I'm in 8th grade and we're moving to the high school. It's called In the Empty Space. Our futures are found in the margins of a notebook, in the empty space overshadowed by the stories of the past and present. Our futures are found on the edges of a sunset, a tiny piece of the day's end turning over for a new sunrise. Our futures are found in the silence between heartbeats, the unlived moments gathering force, pushing us to fill them with potential. Our futures are found in the stillness before storms, with the air holding its breath for the lives we will begin. Our futures are found in the darkness between stars, to where we shall run, leap, and fly, and illuminate the night.
My name is Bailey, and I'm in 7th grade. And my story I chose is called Tears of Gold, and I like this one because it reminds me of my childhood. Like when I used to go to my grandparents' house, we'd play games like where we were orphans, and we'd always incorporate magic somehow. So my story is a combination of both, and it's about these like children who were abandoned because they have tears of gold, but scientists have been like capturing them because they realize they have these magical abilities. And I'm just going to read the first 2 paragraphs, but I crouch low to the ground behind the crumbling wall, still as the night around me. I glance over to see Red, my best friend, sniffing the air on the opposite wall. Smells like rain. Just as my legs begin to cramp, a shrill cry like a sparrow's call pierces the silence. Dagwood. Red and I carefully make our way toward the shop, darting around piles of rubble. I see Dag sitting perched on the roof, high as the trees surrounding him. He waves, the threaded gold symbol of the Gold Children, hidden under the cloth wrapped around his arm. Gold Children. That's us. The children whose parents were murdered for creating a child with tears of gold. The children who were abandoned in this town. And then it goes... Hello, my name is Abby Mahoney. I'm in 5th grade. I'm going to read my most recent story. I'm still working on it. I was inspired to write it by a game that me and my sister were playing. So I'm just going to read the first part. It's split into 2 different parts, and it's from the perspectives of 2 different characters, the main characters. So the first part's Cobra. I crouched, hidden in the greenery. I wore all green, like all the citizens in the Green Kingdom, but mine were specially made to camouflage me into the forest. I took a deep breath in, the sweet smell of kiwi, the smell of the rainforest, dirt and rain, and I inhaled sharply, the smell of an outsider. My heart started to pound. I was surprised it didn't give me away. Suddenly, there was silence. Not even the lime green parakeets chirped. Slowly, I started to creep out of my hiding spot.
Hi, my name is Hannah. I'm in 7th grade, and this story, I recently came up with it, and I wanted to share it because I haven't written a lot of stories like this genre. I normally write realistic fiction, and I was inspired to write it when we were reading Divergent and Literacy and a dream I recently had, and my mind just kind of put it together into this little piece I'm going to read. And so like before this part, they're in a plant colony, and there's like a flower colony, and then there's the outsiders, and they're just getting ready in the morning. So Agave runs towards her mother and engulfs her in a warm hug. I stand beside her and wave as I slip on my white sandals and walk towards the changing station that all the ladies share. My mind half expects my own mother to walk out of the room, along with all the other mothers doing so. And then I would run to her and kiss her forehead and tell her I love her. She would say good morning to me and wish me good luck, and we would both dress in nice clothes and hand in hand walk out the door, grabbing a handful of strawberries outside for breakfast. I turn away, blinking back tears. The girl in front of me is done changing, and she holds open the thin white curtain for me as I step inside. While I'm changing, I hear Agave talking with her mother. She has a very loud voice and is very strong and determined. She's always happy and trying to think of something positive to say. I'm afraid of losing her at the day of place today at 8 o'clock. I'm afraid if I lose her, I will no longer have a purpose. And then comes along another fear and the possibility of becoming an outsider. I finish dressing and hold open the curtain for the next person in line. She thanks me, and I'm surprised she knows my name. You're welcome, Nutmeg, I respond, surprising myself I know hers. I walk into the bathroom. There's another line. I refuse to complain, but it's hard not to. When the door finally opens for me, I step inside and pull a wet washcloth over my face. Every day I cry into this, because every day I half expect my mother to come and say good morning to me, but she's the only mother that doesn't.
Hi, I'm Bella LeCairac, and I wrote just a small little paragraph, and it's basically about a girl who longs to be in the forest, but it's a little too dangerous for her. The cliff was steep. It was loud up there, like 1,000 stallions rushing in my head. Just then, I snapped back to reality, the huge bear roaring towards me, huge paws, huge teeth, ready to rip inside me. I prayed what I was about to do would work. I then jumped off the cliff. No regrets.
Yeah, you're going to read about these girls someday. They're awesome. What they did, they selected the lines that they've written that they truly just loved, and they made them into bookmarks for you. So you're going to be receiving some bookmarks from a future author, published author. Go ahead.
Beautiful work. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, you can go ahead. Go through.
Absolutely, thank you.
Yes. And now Mr. Render will present the Whiskey Yearbook.
Yearbook staff, come on up. We have Ms. Crean and Ms. Weissman, we're our advisors, and I'm going to have them introduce.
Thank you.
It's beautiful.
Mrs. Weitzman left me. She promised she would. Where are you, Mrs.? There you are. Okay. We had the pleasure of... Okay. We had the pleasure of advising the yearbook this year. It was my second year, but I have to tell you, last year I was really an apprentice, so this was eye-opening. However, we had a remarkable staff. We didn't really think we would have the yearbooks in time to come tonight, so luckily a couple of our students were able to come up last minute. No one has seen the yearbooks besides pretty much the four of us and Mr. Renda, so I'm not going to put it up on the screen because the students haven't gotten it yet, and I'd like it to be more of a surprise for them. But I am going to invite the students that are here to share a little bit with you. Ashlyn Worcester was one of our three editors, editor-in-chiefs, with Caitlin Preston and Krish Takur. And Vince Diesta, I call him my MVP. He pretty much did whatever I asked him. He was a page developer extraordinaire. So I was really glad that they were both able to make it. We did not, Mrs. Weitzman and I think you'll agree, Mrs. Weitzman, we really did very little in terms of the actual nuts and bolts. We coordinated, but our editors were fabulous, our staff was wonderful, and we really didn't have to take it upon ourselves to do it, which is a really nice compliment for a middle school yearbook. Anyone involved in yearbook knows it's a huge production. So I'm going to invite Ashlyn first to come up and talk a little bit about some of her favorite parts, and then Vince talk about his.
Hi, like Miss Green said, I'm one of the editors of the yearbook. One of the most important parts of the yearbook for me was, as you can see on the cover, it's a tree, and underneath the date there's Create Your Tomorrow, which is the district's quote, and I really wanted the yearbook to resemble that, and the fact that while we're in 8th grade and we're leaving middle school, we want to focus on our futures and moving on to high school. And speaking to that, we added another part in the yearbook, and it was the 8th grade wishes, and each student in the 8th grade was asked to submit a wish that they had for the future, and we have a collection of those from anywhere from going to college to getting rid of bullying to helping the planet, which was really important because it was the students' point of view of what they wanted the future to hold. Thank you.
So as Ms. Crane already introduced, I'm Vince Siesta, and I was a page developer. As one of the people who really worked hard on the yearbook, I think I can say for all the page developers that we really did put our best into making this. And it's quite evident in all the pages we have here, the books in front of you at least. So I'd just like to bring up a few pages. For example, this one. This page is just a portrayal of our principals and vice principals, and a great message that Mr. Renda has sent to the 8th graders as we're moving on to high school. And another page being the art page, which I personally like because I made it, of course. But we all did really work hard, and I can say on behalf of our whole team that we truly think that this book is a great summation of our school year. Thank you.
Thank you. I mean, you can see how lucky I was. I can't leave without making a comment about these wonderful children that I had the pleasure of teaching some of them twice, and I'm not surprised to see some of the people that are sitting here. They were wonderful when they were in 5th grade and 6th grade, and then I think again in 8th grade at 21st Century Skills. So I'm pretty excited to see you all sitting here. Congratulations and the best of luck to you in the future.
Thank you, Rick Skinner. Great job. I'd like to ask Mr. Bland to come to the podium now and talk about the Brookfield High School pieces for this evening.
So we have two presentations tonight. The first will be from our literary magazine. Ms. Nichols, would you mind coming up here? Oh, we did get it. We were concerned it might not be here in time for the meeting.
Sure, walk. My name is Kelly Nichols. Can anyone see? I feel very... it's a little short. I need the stool. My name is Kelly Nichols. I advise the Creative Writing Club and the Literary Magazine. We've been doing this for a handful of years. We're a small club with a big heart, which means that the students involved work very hard to update content. We have an online magazine. It's bhslitmag.com, and also our print magazine, which also came in today, thankfully. So this is Maddie Oldham. She's the club president and the senior editor, and I think she'll tell you a little bit about her role and share a poem. Go for it.
Hello, everybody. So as she said, I'm Maddie Oldham. I'm the current president of LitMag and the Creative Writing Club. I've been very fortunate to be involved with the club for all 4 years of high school. I joined the club when I was at the club photos for the yearbook, and I saw some kids, and I was like, oh, what's your club about? They're like, oh, we write, we put together LitMag. I'm like, oh, can I join now? And I got in the picture, and now I'm put together. So it was kind of special how it all came together. Last year, I was really fortunate to work with a great student, Madison Vetterino, who's currently studying at Marist, and we got to be co-presidents, and so it was interesting taking on all of that responsibility, but it was a lot of fun. I have a lot of great kids that work with me, and it's a lot of fun. So in her honor, she had a tradition of every year in the literary magazine she wrote a certain number of lessons by the time she gets to a certain age. So however many lessons you currently are by the time you get to the next year of your life. So the poem that I did to honor her, since she did it in every lit mag, was 17 lessons by the age of 18, and it's about me and my life, so I'll read that if that's cool. Okay, so number 1, being friendly doesn't mean you have to be friends with everyone. Number 2, take care of your voice. It is the thing that changes you in the world. Number 3, know that some things are just not going to be okay and that is okay. Number 4, the world is not going to be wrapped up in your purple art pop comforter, but that is a good place to take refuge. 5, a smile on an old person's face lasts longer than you know. 6, coffee is amazing. Seriously, it's amazing. 7, always write in colored pen because it is not right to put words down in anything but the most honest shade. 8, it is okay to want to be alone sometimes. That doesn't make you a terrible or antisocial person. 9, you're cool even if the so-called cool people disagree. 10, savor moments with your parents because they won't always be in the next room making you dinner. 11, accepting an apology doesn't mean you have to throw away all that hurt you. You're allowed to feel wounded and let them apply the Neosporin and see if there's still an infection. 12, recognize the fleeting nature that is the next few months and years and soak up every instant. There will be time to sleep in when you graduate. 13, sometimes crying is the only way to make it better. Purge the negativity and then move on forward. 14, take chances, make mistakes, and get messy, just like Miss Frizzle. And that means lipstick and winged liner even if you're the only one. 15, have more confidence in your art. Saying I'm not good enough can no longer be an excuse. 16, cherish your old friends but enjoy new ones. Your dearest and truest won't feel pushed aside. And 17, be a welcome sign, not a welcome mat. The times of letting people walk all over you are over. So that's my poem. And so what's cool about our magazine is that we don't just have poems, we have pieces of prose, and we have artwork. So our director of the online magazine does a lot of digital artwork, who also did the cover, Scott Augustine, and we have different pictures, and he has a whole page in the center of his art that I just wanted to highlight really quick, which is really cool. It's really incredibly talented. So thank you so much for allowing us to show it, and I'll pass out a couple copies. Awesome. You're the first to see it. I just got handed it today, so it's big. That's awesome. Thank you so much.
Good job. Wonderful. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
Wonderful. Thank you.
And last but not least, we have Miss Sheeran, and I believe, is that Liam here? One of the editor-in-chief here to talk about the yearbook.
I'm going to pass this around. I'll be right. So hi, I'm Joyce Sheeran. I'm the yearbook advisor at VHS. And I was going to talk about 21st century skills and everything that goes into creating our book, the collaboration, the teamwork, the problem solving, the creativity, but I know we're on a tight agenda, so I'm really going to just introduce Liam Carroll, who is our editor-in-chief.
If you look, the theme for the yearbook is We Are Brookfield, and honestly, I don't think any phrase better defines not only our high school, but our town. I was fortunate enough to be on the basketball team that actually ended up winning states, and and I'd have to say the most amazing part of the experience was walking into Mohegan Sun on the day of the championship game and seeing the arena filled with blue and gold just everywhere, seeing hundreds of fans, some people I've never even met in my life, just driving nearly 2 hours just to watch us play a basketball game. It was just really showed the type of town that we are. We support each other in everything. We got each other's backs, and we're not just a bunch of separate entities that stick to each other. We truly are a community, and that's why we chose the theme.
Thank you.
Anything else? Okay. We're all set.
All right, great.
Thank you, Mr. Belden.
That was exciting. I have a question for our top 10. How many of you did the literary magazine or the yearbook in middle school? Yeah? Yeah? Huh? Wow. these are just fabulous. I want to thank all the parents and students who came tonight and anybody who participated in it for everything they've done. Any other comments from the board?
Great. I have to admit, every time I'm always looking forward to this magazine. I don't know why. I think it's just because I get to see everybody's creativity. Whether you write poetry, or you write a story, or you do art, this is always one of my favorites, and I cannot lie, because it's just, to me, always neat to see how you see, no offense, teenagers start to become true adults. So, thank you for doing this, because I really do love seeing this every single year.
Well said. Okay, so that's it for that section of the agenda. Thank you all very much for coming. And you all can stay if you'd like, or if you need to get up and go. Not you guys. Just quietly, because we're going to continue with the
Top
meeting.
10, you're stuck here for a little bit. Sorry.
Yeah, we get to talk to the top 10 now. So next up is our recognition section of the agenda, and I'd like to turn it over to Mr. Burrell to walk us through the Teacher of the Year, the Staff Members of the Year, and the top 10 graduates.
All right. Well, like the board, this is a favorite time of mine as well, to really recognize some shining stars from each of the schools that I think most rewarding when a teacher receives this recognition. It's from their peers. Their peers think of them as a Teacher of the Year at their school, and really, when your peers honor you with such a recognition, there's really nothing like it. And so what I'd like to do is introduce our Teachers of the Year from each of the schools, and we'll have them come up and shake hands with the folks here at the table, and that'll be that, and then we'll move on to the Staff Persons of the Year. So I'd like to start with Center Elementary School and Ms. Shawn Knapp. Please come up.
Thank you.
And from Huckleberry Hill, Miss Jennifer Pink. There she is. Congratulations, Jeff. Great job. From Wisconsin, I'd like to have Miss Nicole Forstrom come on up here. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you guys for having me. Congratulations. Congratulations. Nicole, great job. Thank you.
And our Brookfield High School Teacher of the Year and Brookfield School District Teacher of the Year, Mrs. Amy Mack. Come on up. Congratulations. Now, some people don't know this, but when you're District Teacher of the Year, it means you get to apply for Connecticut Teacher of the Year, which requires a summer of writing. So Mrs. Mack will be very busy this summer, so we look forward to that and the recognition in the fall as well at the big state recognition ceremony. So congratulations again, Amy, and to all of the teachers. Thank you so much for all you do. And I am so proud to share with you, we have 3 of our 5 awardees for Staff Person of the Year. We started this award last year for those folks who are not certified, that don't normally receive of the year type recognition, but are such a value to our students and to our district and to the organization. And 3 of the Two are here tonight? Oh, he didn't make it tonight. Okay, so I'll start with the three individuals that didn't make it tonight. Lori Heil, who is our special education and facilities secretary at central office. So Lori is one of our awardees, so a round of applause for Lori. Ironically, this year, her son, who is a custodian at Huckleberry Hill, was chosen as a staff person of the year for Huckleberry. So Dennis Heil. And then the Brookfield High head custodian, Craig Arsenault, was recognized as well. And for the two wonderful folks that are here, Center Elementary School, Linda Estrella. Linda, come on up here. Congratulations. Great job. And then the one and only, you already saw her up here working, from Wisconsin, para extraordinaire, Allianceman. Come on up here.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I was the only one running. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Congratulations. And thank you. And thank you.
Mr. Belden, before I turn it back over to you, I would like to share with you that tomorrow night is the district recognition dinner, and our Teachers of the Year, along with the Staff Persons of the Year, 25-year service persons, and also retirees will be recognized at the banquet. So we're looking forward to that. So just great work all around, and we're so appreciative.
Absolutely, and the board wants to thank all of the teachers, all of the staff, all of the administrators of our school district. That's what makes our school systems what they are. And so the fact that the people who we've recognized tonight were selected amongst their peers as for the recognition is a step above, and you guys deserve it. Thank you very much for everything you do, but I think we ought to thank everybody in the entire organization. So. So now I think our top 10 has been sitting here very patiently.
They've been very patient, very patient.
You know, it was a purposeful thing because we figured you guys needed a chance to digest dinner a little bit. So, Mr. Brill, would you like to go
Absolutely,
through the
absolutely. So we have the top 10 students from Brookfield High School. And they have made some incredible achievements over their career at BHS, and we're going to recognize them tonight and give them a moment at the podium to share a little bit and answer some questions from the board as we traditionally do. I'd like to start with Mr. Belanda, if he could come to the podium. Where's Mr. Belanda? Sure. Mr. Belanda and I have been with the students over a number of evenings now, and with the families as well, getting to know each other quite extra well. So, Mr. Belanda, I'll let you work the introductions.
Oh, okay, thank you. So, I just want to say it's quite an honor to be up here. I can, from Amy Mack winning Teacher of the Year in our building and then in the district, our earlier recognition dinner, to be there with the top 10 students and their families, and just to hear the positive thoughts and things that you shared with the people you invited. It was a pretty moving experience for some. I think actually all. Some showed more emotion than others, but you can see on their faces how truly touched they were that you chose to recognize them and the influence that they had on you and your success. But we thank you, and we're also, proud as parents. Your parents are here tonight as well, and all the work that they put in to help support you to get to this point. It's quite an honor. So, in no particular order, because to me it doesn't really matter. We're going to start down the far end. So is that there? It is. Okay. So the first person I'll introduce is Kimberly Hancock, and they are well prepped to be ready for questions. So they are ready to go. So Kimberly, come on up.
Kimberly, where are you going to college, and what are you going to study?
I'm going to Bowdoin College, which is in Maine, and I plan on studying math and probably some sort of science along with it.
And why did you choose Bowdoin?
I chose Bowdoin because it's like it's a liberal arts college, and I really wanted a smaller school to get like smaller class sizes and be closer with professors, and I really just wanted a more like integrative learning experience and more like hands-on and one-on-one. So, and also I really love the area. I love Maine. I like skiing and outdoorsy things, and it really just was a good fit for me.
Okay. All right, so can I ask the one question?
Absolutely.
That you all now have to be prepared for.
And she asks hard questions.
You know me too well. Favorite class and the reason behind it?
In high school?
In high school.
I would say it was the advanced algebra and trigonometry class I took my sophomore year, and that was actually the first year they ever offered that class, and it was Algebra 2 and pre-calculus combined into 1 year. And I think the reason it was my favorite class was for two reasons. Well, actually a lot of reasons, but the two that come to mind first are just the group of people I was with and the students in that class. Everyone was really driven and wanted to work hard, and we all I remember there'd be so many classes, we would spend an entire class just on one problem that we'd be given, and we'd be discussing it together. It was just really a good way to get a bunch of kids who cared about the subject to help each other out, and I think we all, just the progress we made over the course of that one class, coming out of geometry and then being prepared for AP Calculus after, was pretty incredible to see. And then the other reason was Mr. Hill, was I think all of us can agree is that he was probably one of the most, impactful math teachers all of us have had throughout our career in Brookfield High School. And he really just, presented the information in such, a concrete yet also, intuitive way. It never felt like we were just memorizing theorems or formulas. He always made sure that we would all really understand what was going on before moving on. And so that was something that I'll probably remember through all the other math classes I take in the future.
That's great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much.
She looked ready for more.
Yeah, she did look like she was ready for more.
Ready for more.
We'll call you back up if we think of more.
Follow-ups later. So next, I'm going to introduce Miss Isabel Kemp. Come on up, Isabel.
Hi. Am I supposed to say? Okay,
so I'll start us off with the same question for everybody. Where are you going and why?
Okay, I'm going to Northeastern University in Boston, and I chose Northeastern because I visited, and they have a huge population of international students, and I've kind of been looking for access to culture my whole life, so it was really just exciting for me to be there. On the campus, I felt more free than I have in a while. It kind of felt like you were part of something, but no one was really watching you, so there's a lot of freedom to be who you want to be and to look for your dreams. And also the co-op program, which was a huge thing for me because I want to go into journalism. I'm doing a double major in journalism and biology with a minor in ethics. So that was important to me because journalism is definitely a path that you need to have experience with when going into the workforce.
Take a major in ethics. No fake news.
I know. No, yeah.
Great. Okay. Favorite class and why?
My favorite class was probably my AP Lang class that I took with Mrs. Prenti, who I actually brought to the Top 10 dinner just now. It was partially because of the teacher. I really liked Mrs. Prenti and the way she taught. I thought she was very energetic in the way that she interacted with students. But also because, one, it was the first class that kind of taught me that writing was more than just writing stories or creative writing. I'd always thought of it more of a hobby or a pastime, but this class was more based on rhetoric and how to use language to have a purpose and to do something with, which obviously I want to study journalism, so that relates to what I want to do. But I think that class kind of showed me what I can do with language. And I used to want to be a doctor. Obviously it changed. And so I liked that class for that reason. But another reason was that it challenged me a lot, which I get bored easily, so I need a class that's going to challenge me. And I remember my first paper that I got back in that class, I got a B on or something, and I looked at it and I was like, what? How are you going to be on this? Like, I did the same thing I've done in all my other English classes, but I had to develop my writing over the year. Like, she wasn't just happy with where I was at that moment, so I liked that because the progress aspect of it was helpful for me.
Fantastic.
Thank you. Thank you.
Most memorable moment at Brookfield High School?
Oh, okay. Well, I'm probably going to think of other answers later that I'm going to wish I'd shared. My most memorable moment, it's hard because I think I've had a great group of friends throughout Brookfield High School, so really every moment with them was memorable for me. I think most memorable moment, it's hard. There's not just one moment that's memorable for me. It's more just like when I walk into Brookfield High School and like I look at the lobby and I think of the times that I stood there with my friends and talking, and it's not like an intense thing that like something happened there, but it was more just like the people that I met, whether I liked or disliked them, it kind of showed me who I wanted to be as a person, so that was memorable for me. Cool. As a whole, the people more than what happened.
Excellent.
All right. Thank you.
Just love the supportive family. Maddie's like Family Feud. Good answer. Good answer. Top 10. Look what's on the board. Survey says. Up next, we have Mr. Matthew Spiro. So in the fall, I'm going to be going to Yale University, and I don't know what I want to major in yet, but it's probably going to be something science or math related. And the reason why I chose Yale, I was actually fortunate enough to get into like my top 3 schools as of applying and as of hearing back, and all 3 of them were great choices. I couldn't have gone wrong with any of them, but I'm a very indecisive person, so throughout the process I was thinking, well, I can go to any of these schools and be happy and like get a good job, because getting a degree from any of these schools would look good. Which one is going to be the happiest for me? So I visited all 3, and just Yale felt like it had the friendliest people and like the most diversity and like discussion was very important there, as well as feeling comfortable, and like the residential college system also really stood out to me as a good reason to go. A lot of community there.
Nice. All right. The same question I've asked the other 2, I will ask you. Favorite class and why?
Probably AP Chemistry with Dr. Mukherjee last year. That was probably the first class I took that genuinely challenged me to the point where I needed to do a lot of extra work on my own. I took Honors Chem the year before, and that was kind of a breeze for me, and I could probably say most people here. Honors Chem was not the biggest challenge. But then when I stepped into AP Chem, it just really, the workload really increased, and it was very much, you were encouraged to do things on your own, try out labs on your own. You weren't really guided through anything anymore, and it was the first real taste of a college-like course I feel like I got in high school, and I feel like it's also helped me find my interest and passion for science through Dr. Mukherjee's passion.
Cool. Okay, that's great.
All right, so extracurriculars. So did you participate in extracurriculars here in Brookfield?
I did NHS, French Honor Society, tennis, math team, and then outside of school, my biggest extracurricular by far is I dance.
Oh, cool.
So that's not related to the school, but that's my...
Yeah. Did your participation in the extracurriculars help you with your academics, and how did they all connect?
I'd say most of the clubs I'm
going to be a college interviewer one day.
I'd say most of the clubs I ended up getting involved with, like NHS and FHS, were a result of my academics, my high academic standard that I set for myself. But I'd say dance, considering I've done that one for about 10 years now. I think this is my 10th year doing it. That definitely set like a discipline for me, and it's more than like an art. It's a very physically demanding and mentally demanding sport that I do, and a lot of it's mental strength and respect and dignity and learning how to fail, because any given competition you can go, one week you can get first, next week you can get like 6th with the same performance. It really depends on the judges. It's very subjective. You learn how to deal with failure, and you learn how to deal that you're not necessarily going to get what you want, even if you think you deserve it.
Excellent. Great.
sure if I want to be Richard Dawson or... no, I won't. Moving on. Next we have Mr. Amar Patel.
Okay, so I am also going to be attending Yale University next year. I'm planning on majoring in computer science and mathematics. And I guess the question is, why did I choose Yale? So compared to most of the other schools I applied to, Yale has the biggest focus on interdisciplinary education, and it's not just you're learning about computer science and math. And to be honest, I came into BHS, and I kind of always knew I wanted to be a math and science guy, and I didn't particularly care for my other classes too much. I really was never too much into English or history. But I gotta say, over the past 4 years, just because of the incredible teachers I've had and just how much fun I've had in those other classes, that's one of the main reasons why I chose Yale. I feel like over the past 4 years, I've come to appreciate interdisciplinary education a lot more. And I still love math and science, but I really am interested in a lot of other things like philosophy and history and English at the same time because of BHS.
Okay.
Cool. All right, I gotta think of something for you. I gotta come up with something.
All right, you do that, and I'll
You go ahead.
I'll give you a minute. All right, your favorite class and why?
So I have to agree with Matt. I'm going to say AP Chemistry again with Dr. Mukherjee. This was an extremely, not just a difficult class, but also a class that really focused on learning. As Dr. Mukherjee's quote is, you have to learn to learn. And I feel like that's one thing that was really exemplified in the class. The amount of freedom she gave you and the amount of challenges she gave you, it was really more than just learning information. And I might know things about covalent bonds from chemistry, but I feel like more importantly, I learned a lot more about the process of education and why we learn. And at the same time, we only had 7 kids in my class that year, and we were an extremely close-knit crew, and we still have AP Chemistry reunions every once in a while and just get together and hang out. So I'd say that's definitely my favorite class from high school.
I like it.
So, by the way, I was a math and comp sci major at my university as well. So although I can date myself 35 years now, in those days, computer science was kind of rudimentary compared to what you guys do.
Isn't that one where you feel that,
No, it was worse than that. It was So, math and comp sci is a very broad field. Where do you see yourself going with that?
So I still have some time to decide that, and
That's a great answer.
But I am really interested in computer science more recently, and I feel like I've had a passion for mathematics since the 6th grade.
Cool.
And I'm really just looking to combine that in a way, maybe some software engineering and some more of the theoretical aspects of computer science, especially computational mathematics.
Oh, excellent. Excellent. Great.
It's great.
Okay.
Up next is Miss Emily Mendelson.
Hi everyone, I'm Emily. I'll be going to Tufts University next year, and I'm planning on majoring in biology right now, but like Amar said, through my years at BHS, I've really been open to a broad range of topics, and really I've learned to love history, so I'm thinking of going into an area, maybe a minor in history or something like psychology.
That's great. All right, you know the routine.
Okay. I'd have to say my favorite class I took was honors biology freshman year. First, we had to pass out of a class the summer before in order to take honors biology freshman year instead of Earth and Energy Essentials. So I was proud of myself for studying over the summer and passing. And then my teacher, Miss Vivas, she loved science and she really taught it in a way that I connected with. And I guess that's one of the big reasons that I want to major in biology, because I learned it at a younger age, and I really just connected through my years, and I took AP Bio junior year, and then AP Chemistry senior year, so science.
Cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you sort of answered my question, but singular moment or person that helped define your path forward?
Oh, does it have to be a teacher?
No.
No.
Okay. I'd have to say my brother. He went through Brookfield schools, and he excelled, and he's a doctor now. and I really saw we have like discussions about medicine, and it's just really fascinating. And when I started liking biology, he got really excited, and then so now I see my path forward.
That's wonderful.
Great. Yeah, that's great.
Do you like brown and pale blue?
Yeah. I like the blue and the white better than the brown.
Just as an aside, I have 2 graduates in my family from Tufts.
Oh, really?
We have more brown and pale blue. And I won't describe the adjectives that go with that brown and pale blue, but best of luck at Tufts. It's a great school.
Next up is Emma Di Natale.
Hi, my name's Emma. I will be attending University of Michigan next year, and I'm majoring in biomedical engineering. I chose Michigan because I kind of applied on a whim. My mom grew up in Michigan, and I was like, why not? Like, it's a pretty good school. But when we went to visit, they seemed to have everything I wanted. They have an amazing research institution. They have a fantastic biomedical engineering facility. And more than anything, they have, as many people know, amazing camaraderie. They have the largest football stadium in the country. They have the basketball team, the hockey team. They have it all, which I think is super cool. My favorite class was AP Biology. I think more than anything it was because of Dr. Kessler. She is one of the most passionate teachers I have ever met. She is super energetic. She always got the information across in a way that I was never falling asleep in the back of the class. I always had to take notes, and I think that was the first science class that actually challenged me. It was like, oh my gosh, I'm actually going to have to study. Weird. So I think I like the challenge, and I love Dr. Kessler.
We're happy to have another Brookfield Wolverine.
Yeah. I was waiting for the end over there to make a comment. Not that she's biased at all by any means. It's just,
What was your most singular memory in Brookfield?
The water balloon fight.
There it is.
Well said.
Lady in blue gets 2 points.
Thank you. We're going to see if we can have anybody beat water balloons.
I don't know if we can, but that wasn't on the board at the top. Anyway. No, and just to speak to, I love the fact that Emma can get up here and say that, and she really feels comfortable doing that. We actually had a conversation today. No, in a good way. The relationship that these kids have with their teachers and with the staff members, that they feel open and honest to have these conversations. Emma and I had a conversation for about 25 minutes today about a situation that we're working through together. It's refreshing to know that you feel that way and you can have that conversation. You know I'm really not mad at you, so that's good. Up next is Emily Lazorchak.
Good evening. So I'm Emily. I'll be attending Tufts University next year. The reason why I chose it is something I've been having a hard time putting to words. But kind of the 2 main things. One was its large interdisciplinary focus. I really love biology, world languages, and helping people, so I'm hoping to combine those. And also because of its smaller class sizes, I was lucky enough to be in an 8-person Spanish class last year and a 12-person English class this year, and that has made a huge impact on my relationship with my teachers, who now I tend to try to call professors, just on a whim, and also just how I've been able to have good conversations with my peers.
Okay. Favorite class?
So I'm actually going to throw it out to the whole English and World Language department, if you don't mind.
Hey, it's your show, ladies and gentlemen. I asked the question.
Had a fantastic experience with the World Language department at the high school. I'm a huge science person, like I'm going to be majoring in bio. I really enjoyed the classes in the sciences, but because I took them early on, I didn't have any real science this year. Like I had physics, but that was more mathy to me. So I really started leaning on my passion for world languages more. And so, I mean, I wasn't taking Spanish, but I took French this year. I studied German today, right about there. And so that was really awesome. And the World Language Department and English has always been something they've always been so flexible and willing to work with me on whatever I want to do. And the people there are always people that I can go to and be like, hey, can we talk? Or just like, even if it's about class, something that happened, just something I want to do. And that's always open to me. So I've really enjoyed those classes.
So with so many passions, how did you narrow it down and focus on bio?
So bio, someone else mentioned it. I think Emily mentioned it. I was fortunate enough to take biology my freshman year after taking the test over the summer. And right off the bat, that was a really awesome way back it up a little, in 7th grade was the first time I was taking life science, right? They don't really call it life science, but it was life science. And I loved it. Loved every part of it. It's so cool that we can study the little tiny things, like little cells, and then they also just have, it's so cool. Anyway. And the diagrams are really colorful too. I always thought it was neat how science was able to combine something that has rules with something that's also creative. So I really like that, and then the Spanish kind of followed with it. Like I said, great World Language Department really threw me in there, and I haven't looked back.
How do you envision using bio and world languages?
So I don't have plans to become a doctor. At first I was thinking research, but now that I've enjoyed the language thing so much, I'm not entirely sure. Lately I've seen a lot of little kids that copy what their parents are saying, and I'm like, it's so cool that you know how to do that. So I might do something like psychology of language and language development. I'm not really sure, but I'm definitely open to it.
Awesome.
Cool.
Awesome.
Thank you.
3 words. Tufts Experimental College. You'll love it. That's cross-disciplinary, the haven for, interesting, unique cross-disciplinary classes. It's been great.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right, Maddie, it's your turn. Come on up. Madeline Oldham.
Hi, everybody. I'm Maddie. I will be attending Hofstra University in the fall to study elementary education and theater. Together, apart, we'll see what happens. I chose Hofstra for a variety of reasons. I knew that I wanted a school that was close to a city but not in a city, so I could have fun and experience the culture but not get so distracted, since bright lights, big sounds. I was also... Thank you. I was also fortunate enough to be in the 12-person English class this year with Emily, which has caused me to appreciate having that small class size and being able to have that really personal connection. We call ourselves B5 Squad. We have a group chat. We have family time. It's really special, and so I knew I wanted a university that had small class sizes like that. And I chose Hofstra because from walking on the campus, it just felt very homey to me. I went in the fall to shadow some education classes and got to meet with one of the advisors, and we only spoke for a few minutes. But when I went back for Admitted Students Day, I went to another shadowing class, and she was there, and at the end she came over, she's like, it's so great to see you again. I saw you in the fall. What are we thinking? And the fact that she still remembered my face and just that brief conversation made me feel very special and felt like it was the home I needed to be at. Favorite class and why? I wasn't worried about you. That's so hard to pick, but I think I would have to say AP World History with Mr. Smith. I took it sophomore year, and it was a big step for me because it was my first AP class, and I was a sophomore, and a lot of my friends were taking this class, but a lot of kids in our grade were not taking APs yet, so they were like, you're crazy. But I went into that class, and Mr. Smith is such an incredible leader and an incredible teacher, and he is one of those teachers that the class is defined by the teacher, and he made me want to come to class every day and learn. And I remember getting handed the textbook and knowing that I was going to read every single page of that book, and I bought my own textbook and I made my little highlights, and I was so excited every day to come and to learn and be able to come home and tell my dad something interesting that I learned. So it was a really good experience, and I'm very thankful that I got to have that.
Cool. All right, let's see if I can give you a spin on one.
Yeah, I was going to say, come on, you got to give her something.
In middle school.
Yes.
What happened in middle school that helped you in high school the most?
I think middle school was a very important time for me to become, set up who I was as a human. I was really fortunate to have, at the Top 10 Dinner Night, 2 of educators from the middle school. Mr. Renda was there, and then my 5th and 6th grade drama teacher, Ms. Sharon Helgens, is here, which is so special. And it was going to that school and being able to be so weird and it be okay, and have people that still cared about you and told you, made you feel at home. Like Mr. Renda is such an incredible, not only administrator but human, to make every single kid feel so special at that school. And Ms. Helgens just, from the start, allowed me to see that I really needed to be a teacher, and that's what I wanted to do. And so the fact that there were so many people in that school, kids as well, but teachers that really were excited that you were there, and they wanted you to be able to do what you were excited about and to get the most out of your time there.
Cool.
Cool.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up is the reason I've been sweating since I knew I had to introduce them. And they knew it. They knew it, too. I honestly, all joking aside, I apologize because after all this time, I can see the tea, and I appreciate the Tessa. I know. They help each other out. But they don't, and I don't mean to be flippant when we talk about the things that are similar about you. You deserve to be celebrated individually as well, because you are your individuals. So I really honestly apologize that at this point, and I see the parted hair, and I don't remember who's left and who's right. And I can't remember who told me. So, Tessa, Ryan, come on up.
I'm Tessa. I'll be attending Hamilton College in the fall. I plan on majoring in biology and on a pre-med track with a minor in Spanish. I chose Hamilton because of the sense of community there, and like a lot of people said, small class sizes were important to me, so that I have better relationships with my professors, especially, that's very important, like on a pre-med track. Getting into med school, that'll be tricky, but if I have better relationships with my professors, I'm optimistic about it. I had something else.
Go ahead, Tara.
What? Oh, favorite class.
Favorite class,
Sorry. That's a tough one. There are a lot of classes I really enjoyed. Might have to go with AP Calc this year.
Okay.
Although I've always really liked math, and this class, it challenged me, but also I liked how it combined a lot of different aspects of math, and it a lot of things like geometry, algebra, they're individual maths, but Calc really put everything together, and everything I learned so far in my math career made sense to me this year. I also liked how we worked together, and I have an AP Calc group message with some of the kids in my class, and it was just a good experience working together and learning and struggling together. So, yes.
So you'll be playing a sport?
Yeah, I'm going to play lacrosse at Hamilton. So.
Nice.
All right.
So, for you, extracurriculars, the most important extracurriculars for you, and how did they impact you as a student here?
I think I was involved in a lot of extracurriculars in high school, and it taught me time management very well. I think the most important and time-consuming of them all was sports. I was a 3-sport athlete and had 10 varsity letters, I think. So I was definitely very busy, but I think that playing sports helped me manage my time very well, and after school I'd come home, I'd have to do my homework because I knew I'd practice later, or a game that would take from 2 until 10 o'clock at night. And playing sports allowed me to realize the value of teamwork, whether that's in the classroom or on the field, and getting to know people and working well with people that you wouldn't necessarily have to in other situations, and I think that's a good life skill moving forward. So.
Excellent.
Thank you.
And to round... Yes, I know it's Savannah. Thank you. Okay, it's okay. And last but certainly not least, Miss Savannah Ryan.
First off, on behalf of all the top 10, I'd like to say thank you for the pens that we got. They're very nice. Yes. I will also be attending Hamilton College, and this is going to sound unoriginal. I plan on majoring in biology, minoring in Spanish on the pre-medical track like Tessa over here. I chose Hamilton because of the open curriculum, and you can study whatever you want and study what you love, which I have enjoyed because moving up through the high school and I've gotten to choose my classes more, I found that the people in my classes are more passionate, and it's just been a good experience for that. And I visited last winter, I think, and so the class before I was in AP Biology, and we were learning about like tRNA and like ribosomes and stuff. And then I went to Hamilton, and the very next day I sat in on a biology class, and they were learning the same thing, and I like knew the answers to some questions, so I felt like I fit in pretty well there. That was a special moment for me. And I love the lacrosse coach there. I feel that she's someone who will challenge me to be a better person, not just an athlete. So I'm looking forward to that. And my favorite class, I would say, is AP Biology, because I have never had to stay up late studying for anything in my life until I took AP Biology. And that was definitely challenging for me, but it was rewarding to see how studying can pay off, and it just taught me a lot about myself. And I also remember Dr. Kessler, and she always had these models. She'd have us all stand up, and she'd show us how protein synthesis works by like having everyone be a different like cell or part of it, and that was very memorable for me.
That's awesome. Who did you invite to dinner tonight to honor?
I brought my AP Biology teacher, Dr. Kessler, and I also brought my AP Spanish teacher, Senora Bankston. She's not Mrs. Bankston, Senora Bankston.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Let's have a standing ovation. Sure. All of our top 10. So, salutatorian and valedictorian. You want to tell us?
The big reveal for salutatorian and valedictorian. This year's class of 2017 salutatorian is Emily Lazorchek. And this year's valedictorian is Amar Patel.
Well, congratulations to all you all. Make us proud.
You already have, though.
Yep. Make us more proud. So before we take a break, we do have one more senior we'd like to talk to.
Absolutely.
Mr. De Los Santos. Earl, for those of you on TV, Earl has been our student representative to the board all year, and has been a fabulous student representative. I always look forward to your reports, and I almost expect to see you on TV sometime, reading the news, maybe. And it's just been a joy having you with us. So why don't you tell us and tell the TV audience where you're going to college, and then Tara's going to ask you a question.
You know the question, or also be prepared.
So I'll be attending Cornell University, and I'll be studying public policy analysis. Future career, which hopefully will be politics. If I go somewhere...
Well, it's along the way, I don't mind. So long as I love what I do. As for favorite class, I have to say I enjoyed AP Literature this year, because it allowed me to explore philosophy in a creative way, like figure out the meaning of life as well as who I am as an individual, which is sort of a continuation of what sophomore English was like. So I'd say that was my favorite class.
Impressive.
Excellent.
Well, I have to admit, for the years that we have seen you here, I am grateful that you were here, for all the information that you were able to give us and to give us a glimpse of the high school. So I thank you for that. I thank you for the theater, because it was always fun to see you, along with a few cast members I know that are here. And politics, I can see in your future, yes, for putting up with us. So
We'd like to present a little thank you from the board.
Thank you very much, and if I'll just say this, thank you for not throwing things at me the first time I spoke here.
No way.
All right, so we're going to take a brief recess, and I'd invite the board to shake everybody's hands on our top 10, and Earl as our graduating seniors that we are honoring tonight. So thank you all. We're very proud of you all. So we'll take a break for those of you who want to let them eat cake. Okay, we're back. Thank you for bearing with us, for those of you who kept tuned into the TV station. The noise will abate here as people are leaving the area. Next up on our agenda is public comment. We do have two people who've signed up to speak, and so first up is Chris Cook. And while you're coming up, Chris, I'm just going to read our board policy on public comment, if that's okay. Board of Education does welcome public comment. Individuals or groups may address the board concerning any subject which is within the board's jurisdiction. 3 minutes will be allotted to each speaker. Comments and questions at regular meetings may deal with any topic related to the board's management of the schools. Discussion of personnel or individual members of the board shall not be considered appropriate. So, if you could just name and address for the record, please.
My name is Chris Cook at 4 Terry Lane. I loved being a part of tonight, and so thank you. My comments are about people, and when I say people, I mean the teachers and kids. I think the most important people in our education system, and I'd like to start with we have the resignations, and I know they're coming up tonight, resignations and retirements, and we have an awfully lot of great, awesome people retiring and resigning. And they're not just great people, they're great teachers, mentors, and in some instances, great life coaches. And I just want to call out two, Mr. Sapienza. I'm the class of '84. I was the class he jumped out the window to go get that student. I was there in ancient history, and I still remember clearly to this day, this school district is losing an amazing person in Mr. Sapienza, and I just want to send my condolences to all the other students that will never get to have him. I wish he would teach to 150. He's that great of a teacher, and he made a difference in my life. That's why I got my doctorate, Mr. Sapp, and a lot of the teachers here, and I just want to say thank you to them. And also to someone who's resigning. The school district is losing someone really important, and also personally touched me, and that's Charlie Manos. He's been amazing, special in special education. I think of Charlie. We're losing somebody so valuable. My sons are going to miss him almost as much as I am, and I just want to say those two have been a great service to our community. We Are Brookfield, right, is the theme of the yearbook, and it's so right on, and it brought back a lot of memories for me. And listening to the top 10 students, it brought out something for me. I've been away doing a couple of things, and I caught back up on your agenda, so thank you for putting them up online. And one thing kind of stood out for me, and I'd love to have that come back and talk about a little bit more. And it stood out for me because it does hit the people, specifically the teachers and the kids in our school district, and that's a new position. It's actually an old position, about 15 years ago, Director of Instruction. And I'm a little off kilter because we have yet to put back some of the programs that we lost during the cuts of the last few years. And instead of putting the money back towards the kids in those programs and building those programs and giving more tools to the teachers, I'm a little concerned of where the money is going and where it's not going. And for example, you heard tonight, small classes were key. We could be hiring some new teachers to reduce the class size. World language, as many of you know, is near and dear to my heart. We missed out. You heard the love from the students on that, and we haven't even touched that again. That concerns me. It concerns me because our teachers give everything they have, and our kids give everything back. And so I'm out of time. Thank you very much. And thank you for all that you guys do.
Thank you. So, Chris, just make a couple comments. Your sentiments on the people we're losing, we're 100% with you. We are losing some fabulous people, and the two you singled out are near and dear to all of our hearts. So, appreciate that. So, I also want to comment a little bit about some of the decisions we've taken on some of the staffing positions, and just in general. You mentioned world language. we spent a lot of time making sure that our K-12 world language program was sound as part, and we did that during the budget season. We spent like 4 meetings, I think, going through how to do that, how to make it work in the middle school in particular, which was difficult, and how to make it work in center school, which is hard to find people to fill that position. So we felt like we found solutions there. One of the lessons I think all of us found is that we needed to have a more dedicated world language leader in our school district. Because as we were looking at our leadership team, our current department head was spread pretty thin across doing both English and world language. So one of the decisions we've just made at our last meeting is that we've actually created a world language and ELL department chair for the district. We think that was and by the way, we did it by rejuggling and not spending more money for the taxpayers, which was important to all of us. But to us, that was really important, because with the right leadership, we can now take the next big steps forward on world language. And so that, to us, was a very important step, because you needed to be able to have a little bit more dedicated focus around world language to allow us to do it. I will also add, we're about to go live with a new language lab. Correct. So that's a big investment at the high school level, and we're working on lots of curriculum stuff around that. Now, in terms of the Director of Instruction. That was another rebalancing of positions, and we're doing a lot of curriculum writing. I mean, one of the things that the new administration found when they joined our district was that our curriculum hadn't been touched in a long time. It was actually had stagnated. At the same time, the Common Core standards and what the state was doing was moving along very rapidly. So in the last year, we've brought in new curriculum tools and materials for both at the elementary school level for both math and reading and writing, and it's been a big investment of this board. But one of the things we learned was that the process of writing curriculum is a very time-consuming and needing coordination task. And it does serve to help the kids, whether it's writing the curriculum, working on the measurements techniques, to be able to do assessment real time, to be able to give the teachers the tools they need to be better teachers. So the second thing we've done is, again, a rebalancing of positions, was to actually improve our hand, and not to just create another administrator, but to actually improve our hand in terms of curriculum and curriculum development. And we did it without affecting class size. And the class sizes are all within guideline at this year. We worked very hard. That was a prerequisite when we put our budget together, to make sure our class sizes were where they needed to be. And to the point where the Board of Finance even put in some extra money in case we needed it for the kindergarten enrollment. So we actually are not bad positioned on where we were, but those positions you mentioned, and I thank you for bringing them up, are things that we thought hard about to make sure that they were being done for the best thing for our children and for the programs as we go forward. So that's kind of a little background, and I do this for the people who listen in and for those of you who are here, and I do appreciate you bringing them up, because it is a concern in the community. For me, as I'm a relatively conservative financially, the administration brought us proposals to do all of that without spending more taxpayer money, and that's a very positive thing. So, I'm hoping that despite losing some very good people in our district, we will continue to move forward programmatically and with new hires that fill those positions to keep the Brookfield the exciting district it is. And I'll just offer the board if any of you would like to add to that. Okay. Sorry for going off on a speech. Eileen Straighten also signed up. Is Eileen still here? No, I think she left with the crowd of kids. Okay. Is there anybody else who'd like to make a public comment here tonight? Okay. So we'll move on. So Earl, you're up for the student representative report.
Well, good evening, and thank you for the cake. I've never eaten cake here before, and I decided I indulged this time.
So first of all, the National Honor Society, the induction of our new members, the ceremony will be next Monday, June 12th at 7 p.m. in the auditorium. I have invitations here for each of you from the NHS advisor. Since Mr. Shaker and the other two aren't here right now, I'll just give these to Mrs. Gramley. So moving on, Best Buddies, they had their final chapter meeting. Over the summer, their chapter president, Aaron Garvey, will be going to Indiana University for the Best Buddies Leadership Conference. She'll be learning about managing a Best Buddies chapter in a high school setting with students from around the world, so we're very excited for her. It's probably the shortest report I've ever had.
No way.
This will probably most likely be my last report here. I had a whole thank you speech planned out, but then the recognition thing threw me off kilter. So, so I'll just say personally, thank you for adding to the experience. Like seeing all my friends up here just made me think about how much I'm going to miss all of them and miss this in general. Being part of a community that was really an extended family was amazing, and thank you all for being a part of it and for what you do for students like me. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Earl.
Thank you. We'll miss you, Earl. Susan's already been great, and it's fun having you here at every meeting.
Thank you.
So, and you will keep us up to date on how things are going, right?
I did say this would be my last meeting, but in this position, I'll definitely come back now and again.
Well, at least quarterly, send updates to Mr. Burrow
Oh,
and say,
absolutely.
this is how Earl's doing at Cornell, and just keep us part of the process.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Recording so we can hear your...
That would be great.
I would take that. I had a friend over the summer from Boston who said, can you record green eggs and ham for me and then send it to me? I never got to it, but I made a bet that he would shave his beard if I did.
Oh, there you go. That
Send us a copy of that recording as well.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much again.
Thank you.
Thanks, Earl.
Written correspondence?
Written correspondence from Glenn Rooney regarding Board of Ed job opening and Christina Zimmerman regarding 2017-18 budget.
Okay. Board minutes.
Recommend a motion that the board approve the minutes listed below as recommended, the regular meeting of May 17th.
Okay. Do I have a second? Okay, moved and seconded. Any comments on the minutes as sent out to us? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Superintendent's update, Mr. Brill.
Thank you, Mr. Belden. I'll be very brief this evening. I wanted to just congratulate our students, underclassmen, and seniors for all of the awards they've been recognized for in the last couple of weeks. I want to thank Mr. Belana for the organization of the underclassmen ceremony, the senior awards, and also the athletic award ceremony, and the top 10 dinner. It's been a very busy week for the high school, and also thank Mr. Baldwin for his work on the athletic awards along with the Booster Club. They've just done a fantastic job. It takes a lot to put on these events, and I'm just very appreciative of all the work. I'd like to turn my time over to Mr. Post, who will give a couple of updates from the Finance Office. Mr. Post.
Thank you, Mr. Earl. First is the Munis conversion. Now that the 15-16 audit is complete, the town has gone through the process of closing out the 15-16 year on the system, which is a multi-step, time-consuming process, but they have completed that. And now they're in the process of checking to make sure that everything, the balances were carried forward properly and everything like that is okay in the new year. Once they've completed that and made sure everything's okay, we can open up 17-18 because the system can only have 2 years open at the same time. And this is critical for us because we need 17-18 open so that we can load our budget and be prepared to go live with our finance and accounts payable on July 1st. As far as our status is concerned, we're almost complete with setting up the roles, permissions, and all the system setups that we need. Some of them are unique to our site, some are global settings that we've had to agree with the town. So that's nearly complete. Training has been ongoing for TSO staff, again nearly complete with that, and we will be extending the training to the school-based staff within the next couple of weeks so that the folks in the schools can start entering their purchase requisitions for next year's supply orders and book orders and things like that before people leave for the summer. So,
just for clarity, because somebody asked me this, is the roles that are in the schools, are they limited to requisitions, or do they do accounting in the schools?
in the schools, they do requisitions.
That's it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. And then moving forward now for the 16-17 audit preparation. Our accounting supervisor, Joan Reynolds, has met several times with the town's accountant, Dana Weiss, to reconcile our funds. They met again today, as a matter of fact, and we are reconciled up through April. Now, that doesn't mean the books say the exact same thing, but they have gone through and identified all of the differences. And now they're going forward with the bank accounts and making sure bank activity matches all of our book activity. So they've made quite a bit of progress in just a few meetings, and I think they're supposed to be talking again tomorrow morning to set their next meeting, which will probably be in another couple of weeks, where they will have investigated some of the differences and be ready to record journal entries to make adjustments to both sides as necessary. And we've also met with the town controller to establish our procedures and schedules for these reconciliations, so that we can have everything done on time for the next year's audit. So I think we're in a much better place than we were at this time last year.
Okay.
As far as our funds, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
As far as our funds, Ken, are the miscellaneous and pay to participate funds fully closed now?
No, we plan on closing them out at the end of the fiscal year.
Okay.
Two things. You said we're going live with Munis on July 1, right?
For accounting and accounts payable,
Right.
yes.
But we still have some training and everything to do. Are we going to hit July 1? I mean, we're going live anyway?
Everybody will be trained before July 1.
Everybody, because you said a few more weeks, and I'm looking at my watch going.
Within the next 2 weeks.
Okay.
Sorry.
We've been engaged in training for months now.
No, I know you have. I was just, again, the phrase and the date just weren't adding up.
Yeah, and the piece that the folks in the schools need is relatively narrowly focused with the purchase requisitions.
Okay.
So it won't be that big of a... I think the biggest
that's
challenge
not
for
a
people is
huge
going to be
deal.
getting used to the new chart of accounts.
Okay. Well, I mean, look.
But they will adjust. As we
We'll
all
get
know.
through it.
Yes, we will.
Have you sorted through the procedures with the town side, since now you're both live on the system, what a accounting close will look like? When as you go through in the month of July, so that you don't run into each other, what are you doing versus what Kimberly does, and in terms of actually getting the books closed?
We have not, but that is on our plans, yes.
Okay. Because, I mean, I know there's always been confusion on who's in charge of a grant account, right? Those are always the ones that are funky, making the right entries. Is it her office or your office? So.
Well, I think we've determined who's in charge of the accounting for certain funds and the bank reconciliations, things like that. But as far as the physical steps of who does what to close out the accounting periods, we haven't documented that, but we do need to do that.
Okay, good.
All right, can we get a master MOU at the end of this between our controller's office and your office to say, these are the steps, this is what we agreed to, this is who's responsible, just so everybody knows what everybody else's role is and who's
Exactly.
responsible.
Absolutely.
I think it's going to be critical moving forward.
It'll be helpful.
Agreed.
Yeah, absolutely.
Plus, I was going to say, you did not say payroll, is that correct?
HR and payroll will be going live January 1st.
Okay, yep, so there's going to be a little bit of a transition there with that.
And there'll be training with that.
Right,
Yes.
training and running, and also running both databases simultaneously to make sure that we've got procedures in place and that we're running it properly. Okay.
And that's, if there's no other questions, that's all we had for the superintendent report this evening.
Okay, thank you for that update, by the way.
Thank you, Ken.
Appreciate that. Okay. Subcommittee reports, any update on that, Huck?
Actually, yes, I know it's a little scary.
Over the wave. No.
Ms. Lerner actually got her butt in gear and actually started to get a few things done. Got a break from a budget audit system. We actually met last week. I don't think I approved meeting minutes, so that's my bad. We did a quick review of the RFP. I made final changes this morning on it. Mrs. Gramling and Mr. Conklin were nice enough to help me with a few things with technical difficulties within the document. I've actually sent it to Mr. Checo and Mr. Flowers to just kind of skim over it one last time, and then I'm going to cut it loose to Mr. Gay, and we're going to be out
to bid, hopefully tomorrow afternoon. I did modify a few dates just for it would coincide with our next meeting for July 6th, if my memory is right. For that way we could take a look to what has been sent to us as bids, for we could start going from that process. So as of right now, by tomorrow afternoon, it will be out to bid, looking for proposals, so we can start the next step.
I just wanted to correct this, not bids.
Sorry, it's proposals, sorry. It's a bad habit with my bids. But it is proposals. When you're in construction, it's bids, it's not proposals, sorry. It happens.
I know.
But we have made great progress, and I think the team itself is all on the same page, where we would hope to secure architect within the middle of next month, to at least then be able to give them a chance to get into the buildings when there are no students in the buildings. I think it'll go a little bit faster, for that way we don't have to worry about students being in the building and who exactly is in the building. Can give them more of a free reign in the buildings, for they can start looking at closets and not have to interrupt the schedule of the students and the staff and then trying to get back up and running. So I'm hoping that we can give enough time that before staff starts to come back into the buildings and the students start to come in, that they can actually go in and do their studies, and then it's just a matter of comprising it and getting it all in a report.
So you've asked that the report then would come back to us around when? Toward the end of the summer?
Yeah, I'm probably looking probably beginning of September, just to give them time to be able to sit down and take a look at the data of what they see, to be able to give detailed reports. I did talk to the committee. I know that we are focusing on 3 buildings, but with having a new director of facilities, I thought it made more sense to have facility studies for all 4 buildings. If we're going to do it, I think we need to do it for all 4. Even though the focus for this committee is only the 3 buildings, I thought it would be prudent to at least allow the director of facilities to at least understand what exactly is going on with all 4 buildings. Instead of giving him or her 75%, let's give 100% and see exactly where we're at with all buildings, for that way, when that new person does come in, they can be up and running.
Okay. All right, thank you. All right, consent agenda.
Recommend a motion that the board approve the items on the consent agenda as recommended.
Wow. Yeah. Quite a consent agenda.
The amount of years on retirements alone is,
yes.
Just reading it down. 32 years, 37 years, 37 years, 45 years, 13 years,
Yes.
2 years, 7 years. I mean, it's just, there's a lot of long-time teachers, educators, mentors who are in this list, so. Do you have any words you'd like to say?
Well, as Mr. Cook and the board has already done, I think, a great job of that. But I'd like to read the names of the folks who are retiring and the years of service. If you don't mind, Mr. Belden, I'd like to thank Anna Boniface from Huckleberry for 32 years of service. Meg McQueen, a para educator with Wisconsin, and in our district for a long time, 37 years. Joan Sabatino from Center School, our reading teacher there, 37 years. Mr. Sapienza for teacher and leadership, 45 years in Brookfield. Mrs. Sullivan from the middle school, 13 years with us. And our facility director, as Mrs. Lerner was just mentioning, will be working toward hiring a new facility director. Mr. Tabolo was with us for a short time, 2.5 years, but he has decided to retire as well. And then someone who is in the audience for 7 full years with us, who is moving on in his career, and that would be Mr. Manos. So congratulations to you, Mr. Manos, in your decision, and we wish you all the best. Thank you.
Okay, all in favor of approving the consent agenda?
Aye.
Okay. New business. First up is the Healthy Food Certification Consideration 1.
Would you like a glass of water?
Buckle up, everyone. We're in for a ride. Recommend a motion that the board, pursuant to Section 10-215F, the CGS, the Brookfield Board of Education certifies that all food items offered for sale to students in the schools under its jurisdiction and not exempted from the Connecticut nutrition standards published by the Connecticut State Department of Education will comply with the Connecticut nutrition standards during the period of July 1st, 2017 through June 30th, 2018. The certification shall include all food offered for sale to students separately from reimbursable meals at all times and from all sources, including but not limited to school stores, vending machines, school cafeterias, and any fundraising activities on school premises sponsored by the school or by non-school organizations and groups.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, so moved and seconded, so discussion. So do you,
What's the difference between consideration 1 and consideration 2?
Consideration 2 is a motion that allows non-conforming foods to be sold at times outside of the school day by other organizations on school grounds, such as athletic concessions.
so how do we manage and monitor our compliance here?
The principals know the rules and work with their PTOs and food service and student organizations and follow the rules.
The state does do an administrative review every couple of years also, which includes looking at menus and actually on-site visits.
Okay. And do we ever go out and look at the menus and on-site visits ourselves?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Oh, yeah?
Most of that's managed through Whitson's, but our food service provider. I'm just curious. I mean, so you don't have, I guess, bake sales as we knew them,
Yeah.
Right.
or anything else, but you can bring them in and give it away. You just can't sell it. Is that the
Right, and you can't have competing sales.
Right.
You can give unhealthy food, you can't sell it. That's the rule. That's the bureaucracy.
Right, okay.
Yes.
Does this
This
preclude?
goes back to a few years ago. There was.
Yes. I remember this.
Mhm.
By participating in the healthy food certification program, the state reimburses the food service, the school lunch fund, 10 cents per meal, which last year accounted for $12,695.
Really? That's it? So we're going to engage in this?
No, there's more to the story. That's
Okay, go
that's the
ahead.
question. I asked the same question. Go ahead, Mr. Post.
Well, that's just the extra 10 cents per meal.
There's more to it.
So what's the overall monetary benefit that we get for the certification?
That's the benefit for that certification.
So, but then there's
No, there's got to be.
No, there's
got to
We were told in the past that this.
Well, if we participate in the National School Lunch Program, we get reimbursed $3.16 per meal for free, $2.76 per meal for reduced, and 30 cents per meal per paid, which accounts for a little over $111,000 per year. But you can get that without being in the healthy food certification. Yes. But we comply with this anyway, with the healthy food certification, so we're really just, by certifying that we comply with it, we get the extra $12,600.
So does this preclude, what kind of limitations does this put on fundraising?
well, they would have to be out. When you also include consideration 2, that has to do with the time outside of school. So you're not selling fundraising type foods during the school
You
day.
can't have a big sale during lunch.
You can't sell chocolate bars as a fundraiser.
During lunch.
During the school day?
During the school day. This is well, I meant during the school day, but outside of it, you can have. You can still have your fundraising group selling the breads or whatever it is, as long as that sale takes place after the school day.
Pies around Thanksgiving,
Right.
concession stand, or
What about basketball games?
what?
After the school day?
Yes.
Can you
Yes.
sell
Concessions.
Yes.
Yeah, you can sell.
That's what consideration is.
Well, while they're competing, but just don't give it to them for lunch.
So I ran into one of these, not in our district, but in a different district, where the kids wanted to do a fundraiser for a family at Valentine's Day, and they wanted to do, card with a little, sugar-free candy cane or a heart, something like that, either Christmas or Valentine's Day, that time of year. And they were told because of this certification that they could not do that because it was a sweet in the school district. And I looked, I actually read it, and I realized that the state's rules say that you can have an exception process, right, as part of that, as long as it's done at appropriately high levels. And are we locking ourselves into no exceptions here, or does it allow for an exception that could either be done at an appropriately high level or even at the board level for something that, like a sugar-free candy attached to a card, right, might be appropriate?
It's a good question. I don't know the answer to that.
By the way, in that district, just didn't know, they had never approved an exception process, so the default is if you didn't approve an exception process, there is no exception process. So they were locked in. They couldn't do anything.
What's the timeline for acting on this motion?
Before June 30th.
So we have one more
We have one more meeting.
I would make a motion to table this motion so that the administration can come back to us with a review and if appropriate, an exception process to the motion.
Yeah, exception process, right?
Yep.
Okay. I'd love to see us have the ability to have an exception, even if we never used it.
Right.
Even if we never used it, I think just management-wise, the ability to deal with a situation is a useful thing, so. So there's a motion on the table to defer this item? Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay.
As long as I don't have to read it again.
We have two motions on the table. One was a motion on this item, and one is a motion to defer. All in favor of the motion to defer?
Aye.
So the motion remains open for the next meeting. So that way you don't have to reread it. All right. Healthy Food Certification Consideration 2.
Recommend a motion that the board will allow the sale to students of food items that do not meet the Connecticut nutrition standards, provided that the following conditions are met. 1, the sale is in connection with an event occurring after the end of the regular school day or on the weekend. 2, the sale is at the location of the event. And 3, the food items are not sold from a vending machine or school store.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it, just so we can open up the discussion.
So, it's been moved and seconded, so we may end up in the same place as the prior one.
I think we are going to end up in the same place.
Okay, discussion.
Is this, again, is this the standard language? Or is
This is the required language.
this is the required language?
See, it makes me nervous with school stores.
What's the definition of a school store? Does the Booster Barn outside qualify as a school store?
As the what?
The Booster Barn, well, I'll call the Booster Barn the,
Snack bar.
Concession stand.
The concession stand that the Booster Club runs. No, that's not a school store. It's a school store that's here in the school.
School store is the one in the
Students run.
the gymnasium.
Student-led.
So that means if they go to the window, they couldn't buy something from the window, but there was a table out in front of it?
That wasn't sponsored by the club that runs the school store, the marketing. Yes.
Because there are situations where they're running,
Right.
They have like a bake sale with the marching band. I've seen that many a time, sitting there right near the school store, but not part of the process, so. Stupid. And what's the financial benefit of this second certification, or is there none?
There is none.
This gives us an exception.
This is the board allowing exception for these items.
Yeah, this is the exception.
This is the primary exception, right?
Yes. So you were saying, is there an exception built in? I believe that this is the one that they were speaking of.
Yeah. No, there is actually, when I went and read it, there was a specific, if the board, I think it takes it to the board to tell you the truth. So, it has to be a policy statement at the school district level. I remember, I went and pulled up all these things from the state to read through them, so.
Does it make sense to even vote on the second one, though, if we're tabling the first one?
I would make a motion to table the second one.
Because the second one is a follow-up to the first.
Right. I think it's correct. I think we're in the same boat.
We have a motion to table. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. All in favor of tabling?
Aye.
We agree. We will leave this item open as well for the next meeting. So I think the comeback is construction process and are our hands tied on things so tightly that we can't act effectively.
We'll come back with a recommendation.
Okay, item C, 2017-18 Board of Education meeting dates.
Recommend a motion that the board approve the 2017-2018 Board of Education meeting dates.
Second.
Okay, moved and seconded. That's in the packet, right?
It is.
So none of these are, we would check that none of these are on holidays. I'm presuming.
Yes. Lisa, anything on that for me? None of these are on holidays?
No.
No, okay. Thank you. God, January 3rd. Okay, any discussion on the dates of the meetings? Okay, hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, good. Approved unanimously. Next item is subcommittee meeting dates scheduled September to December 2017.
Recommend a motion that the board approve the subcommittee meeting schedule from September through December 2017.
Second.
Okay, it's moved and seconded. You all have that in your packet. Any comments on the dates there? Any concerns? Okay, and no further discussion. All in favor? Aye. All right. So that's all new business.
Question if we can back to the food certification.
Sure, go ahead.
Karen, I know there had been discussion in the past of opting the high school in particular out of this. What's the benefit of that and what value? And what latitude does it give us? Look, I mean, in years past, we have a yogurt machine, an ice cream machine. There's things in the school for high school students that are, actively responsible for their own nutrition. Does it give them a little bit more latitude to have better lunches?
It does.
It does.
It does.
Would there be a possibility of a tiered where you can enforce this, say, summer, the elementary schools and maybe the middle school, but not the high school?
I think you can take one school off of the National School Lunch Program, and you still have to play by those rules with the other schools. I don't believe you could opt for the healthy food certification, because that would encompass all the schools, not just participating schools.
So you can pull off the National School Lunch Program, but then if you do that, you have to abide by the healthy food certification.
No, if you adopted, you couldn't adopt the healthy food certification if you were going to
Opt one out of the federal program.
Right.
You can't get both. It's either all.
So it's either you can opt out for the high school on the National School Lunch Program, which gives you more latitude for developing.
Right.
Yes.
Or choice.
But the healthy schools
at lunchtime, but
the healthy food certification is a district-wide
It's not on nothing.
certification.
okay, so then you would do away with the healthy food certification altogether. For all
Yes.
schools.
Completely.
Yes.
Just the certification
Yes.
portion. But we can still,
It's all or nothing.
well, no, but still district-wide,
Yeah.
you can still
Yeah.
abide by the same standards, you're just not adopting the certification.
Yes.
We're in deja vu mode again, aren't we?
Yeah, I think we've had this conversation before.
We've had this conversation before, but again, how do I put this nicely? The numbers were wildly skewed.
Yes.
That if we opted out,
It was too much money.
that the district would lose hundreds of thousands of dollars.
But we didn't get any improvement.
But you didn't get this nuance that we have here. We said this certification is worth about $12,000. The national school one is worth all the money.
But you can opt out of the high school and still do the national food, national school lunch program
Correct.
for Center, Huckleberry, and Wisconsin, and
Right.
get the free and reduced lunch. I don't call them
But we would just
Or
raise
you
the
get the free and
money.
reduced rebates for the schools participating in the
That's right.
program.
Right.
The
Yes.
district would have to develop a plan to cover the cost of feeding free and reduced kids
At the high school level.
Right.
All right.
Come back with that cost.
Here. All right, we'll play deja vu here, because I'm all game tonight. So, we know that there's another school district that
is close by that does this, or at least we're under the impression that there is a school district that does this. So can we reach out to that other school district, who will remain nameless at this point in time, because I've talked about it so much, I think my head could explode over it, and see how they did it, and see how they've made it a net zero?
Yeah.
Or if they haven't, how they've balanced their food service to be able to allow their high school to opt out, for that way we could see if possibly we might want to entertain going down that road.
Right.
Fair enough, Mr. Checo?
Fair enough.
Okay.
And the guise is in that, food service has gotten a lot better.
Yes.
Here.
Absolutely.
But it's been shown to eliminate a lot of the waste.
Yes.
Because students are forced to take certain elements with there, and it's just looking there.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, so there's obviously a deeper discussion to have.
Sure,
Let's do it.
I think there's a lot of pros and cons.
And I think it would be good to have fuller membership of the board here and have discussion. We hope. Okay. Anything else on the new business items? All right. Upcoming events.
Monday, June 12th is the Wiskaneer Parent Orientation for the incoming 5th graders. 6 o'clock the tours begin, and 7 o'clock is the meeting at the Wiskaneer cafeteria. Thursday, June 15th, Brookfield High School final exams begin. Tuesday, the 20th, is the Wiskaneer Moving Up ceremony for 8th graders. This is at 7 o'clock here at the high school gymnasium. Because it is a larger class, the typically 3 tickets per family has actually been reduced to 2 tickets per family. But I did want to emphasize there that this event is going to be streamed live. So you can either see it on the live on the website or on channel 194.
Can I ask a silly question with that?
Yes.
Now I brought it up before, with our great new auditorium, why don't we just kind of stream it live right into there, so you could have some overflow?
No. It won't be one.
Oh, it's not going to be 194. Thank you for the correction. It will be streamed live on the website.
I think his question is, could we stream it live into the auditorium?
Well, because I actually inquired about it, Mr. Renda. I did inquire about it, and you know who I talked to, because you know who's in charge, and so do I. And it's not you. And I was informed that the way that we do it is the students actually are in the auditorium. That's how we bring them out and into the gymnasium, so we cannot...
So that's the staging area?
Correct. It's the staging area. And I understand the functionality of it now, that once I inquired about it...
Why couldn't we stage them in a small gym? I mean, look, with larger classes, and you want grandparents, and you want people to come in and participate.
Absolutely.
I've been to this. I know how crowded it is in the gym.
It's crowded.
How uncomfortable it is.
Yep. Yep.
It was just a thought. You have other staging areas if you really wanted to make this work.
Paul, I did inquire. I will leave it at that, and I did inquire, and I did ask the process, and I got to explain the process, and...
Great, change the process.
Okay, you make the phone call.
Who do I make a phone call to?
Let's do that offline.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Don't take no for an answer.
Wednesday, June 21st, last day of school for students. It is an early dismissal at all schools. And our next Board of Ed meeting is also the 21st, 7 o'clock.
Okay. Thank you very much. And I think that's all we have for tonight. And thank you all for tuning in. And I guess all we have left here in the audience are the building principals. So thank you all for sticking it out. And without objection, the meeting is adjourned. Thank you all.